been a long week.
So we got to San Diego with the idea that we were going to film like a parking sort of a vlog, where we just kind of explained like how to park, which we still probably will do, but we ran into some issues and this vlog took a totally different turn.
Good morning from beautiful sunny San Diego. We slept like a stone's throw away from the beach last night. It is so amazing here already. We just woke up, walked immediately outside the van, and we're like, this is already incredible. We're already planning on staying for a little while in San Diego. We made that decision well before we got here and it already seems to be a good decision, so let's get it. So yeah, on our first like real day here, we were walking on the boardwalk. Everything was like amazing.
There's reggaeton playing, people dancing.
Smile.
Blue skies, palm trees. It's just so nice. I love it here.
Nick's been outside for about 10 minutes and he's already using the L word. Kind of sounds like the beginning of our relationship. And everyone was already out and like we fell in love with San Diego immediately.
We were already talking about like, okay, how are we gonna move here?
Did I buy a bird or something?
I'm losing my fucking mind.
Okay, so are we.
We were loving being by the beach, but we needed to find faster Wi-Fi for Nick to be able to teach his class. So we drove to the skate park hoping that there would be some like really great service, that our phones would connect, our hotspot was working, and we got there and it was all working beautifully. We were like in the best moods. Yes, this is great. This is like, and it even says your internet connection is fast. So we're good. We're good here.
Tight.
Yay.
I went and did a little bit of skateboarding, burned off some energy, and then later on that afternoon went and did my class. I was able to get my class done. And before we were going to decide where we were going to end up for the night, when I turned the key, the check engine light was flashing, which means turn the vehicle off, don't drive it, there's something bad happening.
Okay, so we're just sitting there on the phone with Nick's mom. Hang up, and immediately our check engine light is flashing, so we can't drive it. Okay, so we need to call AAA.
Yeah.
So can you do that, and I'll try to find a mechanic that...
Hopefully they can tow a box truck.
They may not be able to, so that we have to call them first and find that out.
Just transfer me to California State BCAA. The one on the card just sends you to Washington BCAA because it's Canadian, so it just sends you to Washington. But they just transfer me over to California. But yeah, so we loaded up Appa on a tow truck and took a sad drive to a AAA recommended mechanic.
It'd be really easy to just sit on the ground and cry. But we don't really have the time to do that, do we? Yeah, that was the first time we've seen our van on a tow truck.
Yeah.
It sucked. The person who drove us, like in the tow truck driver, Ira, he was absolutely amazing. He like talked to us. He's like, you know what, you guys seem like hippies. Like, you'll be fine. Like, he was just so funny. He was giving us marriage advice and we were like, the three of us were sitting in the front seat. He was like listening to the football game.
He's a good man.
And he was a really awesome person, and he ended up like parking us right out front of the mechanic, which was awesome. Like, it was really great that we were so close, but we were on a gnarly slant. Like, I was cooking dinner that night, and our propane stove was just like sliding off. So at this point we were really upset, and I want to make it clear why we were so upset. Because as you guys know, we had gone to a mechanic a few weeks before this in Phoenix, and he had quoted us $3,000 plus parts and tax for for head work that he had to do, and we'll explain that in a little bit. And we thought that we could get away with not doing this work. And once the check engine light was flashing and the van was acting up that day, we thought 100%, like, in that moment, we're like, okay, I guess it's time for us to do the work. And for us to wrap our heads around the thought that, you know, like, we had convinced ourselves that we probably wouldn't have to do this, at least on this trip. We just were wrapping our heads around the thought of, wow, like, how much money we are going to have to spend that we don't really have. We don't make that much money in a month. And this was like probably the most stressful thing. But our check engine light was flashing. So, like, you can't, everything that we know points to, like, you can't drive with a flashing check engine light. Like, we can't ignore this problem anymore. Nick's already standing in line at the mechanic. I don't want to leave my bed. I don't want to leave the van. I guess I gotta go. Let's do it.
Went straight to the front door, waited there for 15 minutes until they opened up their doors. The guy had asked me what the deal was. I had told him we went to a mechanic and they had inspected it and told us that we're gonna need to pull the head off and get some valve work done. And he immediately just like denied us. He's like, oh, I don't have a lift that's gonna be able to lift your vehicle, and I don't know where you're gonna be able to do that. All the while I didn't really understand why they were going to need a lift, because you just remove the doghouse, and then the head's all right there, but whatever. It was very clear after talking to multiple mechanics in the area that nobody really wanted to do it.
So you need to go to Horseman Automotive. That's where I would send you.
Horseman Automotive?
Yeah, that's where we send all of our heavy work to. They're right over there.
And I've got a retired ambulance, but it's essentially just a 2011 Chevy Express 3500 front end. So it's a 6-liter V8 engine.
Action cylinder heads.
Action cylinder heads? Okay,
They
great.
give you a phone number here.
Fucking hell, man. Like, no one wants to work on a vehicle.
Literally no one wants to work on it. We've been sent to how many now?
I don't know, too many.
Yeah, man, well, I don't even know where someone like that would do it reasonably, just because of the size of the box. You know, it's a big truck.
Yeah.
Just our shop's kind of old, and it's just not really set up for something that size. Dude, this is gonna be an expensive job, because those DoD cylinders are like $500-600 a side. I'm saying you're probably looking at about, I would say $3,000, something like that. By the time someone pulls those things off, buys the DoDs, gets the head jobs done, all the gas, you're looking at probably $1,500 to pushing $2,000 for just parts. All right, man. Good luck, dude.
Thanks, bye-bye. We found one last place that was just around the corner. It was, I think, just after 8 at that point, which is when the place opened.
Well, we called him first.
Oh, yeah.
We called him at 7:30. He opened at 8, and I was like, well, sometimes mechanics just pick it because sometimes it's just their cell.
Yeah.
And we called him, and he was so helpful on the phone.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, like, I may be able to take you, but he said, yeah, I may be able to take you, but you have to wait till Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And right after that, I was like, no, I want to see him in person. Like, I wanted to walk over because all these people had denied us now. Like, we walked to multiple mechanics. We had called multiple mechanics. We were calling people, like, people were recommending that we go to Mexico.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to cross a border with a fucked up engine. Like, I didn't know what was happening. So I was like, I will wait till Wednesday to speak to this man, to get work done by this man, but I want to go to the place and like meet him.
He was busy and he told us to come in on Wednesday. He'll take a look at it, and he was pretty confident that it was likely not as big of a problem as we were originally quoted. And he had told us that he would be more than comfortable driving with that check engine light on. Even if it was flashing or not, he said it's just a misfire. If it's just a 4th cylinder misfire, you still got 7 cylinders. It's a big engine. You can definitely drive on it. Do not worry. You'll be fine till Wednesday.
So this is our parking spot for today. Oh my God, what a disaster. So we were happy to just park down by the water for a few days. We really liked it down there. There were some parking spots that you can kind of get away with. And I think that we had mentioned in a vlog prior, and I definitely mentioned on our Instagram stories, that our friends, Jesse and Kevin, who we met at Van Life Pride, live in their van in San Diego, and we were planning on meeting up with them at some point. So we still have a few problems. One, obviously, we still need to go get the van fixed. And two, we work online, and when we're working, we're teaching on Zoom calls, and we need a space to be able to do that, and we typically do it in the van. So luckily, we don't have a Zoom call until Wednesday. We're trying to sort all that out. We're thinking about like getting a hotel. We don't know what we're gonna do because we're gonna have to drop the van off at the mechanic, but then we're gonna have to teach classes. So we're trying to figure it all out. And then, of course, I get a text message from Kevin and him and Jesse. Mind you, we have only met them one time. We really hit it off, but we've only met them one time. They also live in their van here in San Diego, and they messaged us and let us know that they rented an Airbnb for the 4 of us to go stay at for the next few days. They said that they could use it, that they could use the space to shower and hang out for a little bit, get all their ducks in a row, and they know that we could really use it too.
Yeah, I mean, this whole van life community that we've met down here is pretty incredible, but like, yeah, for Jesse and Kevin to go out of their way and do that, like, it was just, yeah, like beyond thankful.
Hi. Hi.
See ya.
Welcome. Oh my God. Oh,
Yeah, this is our home for the next few days. Nice park.
It just, there's good people. There are good people.
So as you guys know, if you watch this channel, we house sit sometimes through trusted house sitters. Also Mind My House, but all of our sits so far have been mostly through trusted house sitters. And it's always like my go-to. So I'm like, okay, you know what? We have a place for a couple days. If this van has to go in and get head work done, other people were quoting us weeks and weeks of it being in the shop. And I'm like, this is gonna run a hotel bill. This is gonna be insane. So I just started looking in San Diego if there were any house sits available, and I had like my save search notification on, so it like notifies me if one comes available for my dates. I set the dates, and like an hour later, one shows up for Wednesday, starting Wednesday for like over 2 weeks. I was like, yeah, like if we get this, then like so much of the van costing $3,000 is still a problem, but at least we're not now spending hundreds upon hundreds of dollars, like an extra $1,000 for 2 weeks of like hotel bills. And the next day they asked us to meet them. And obviously, because our friends are absolute f***ing angels, Kevin was like, yeah, well, I'll drive you. Like,
Yeah.
You don't need to drive your van.
That totally took care of us.
So we hopped in their nice ass Sprinter and drove to this thing, and we got the house sit. And that was a relief.
It felt like after Jesse and Kevin had taken care of us, and then we got the house sit, we're like, okay, maybe our luck's turning around. Maybe things are gonna be okay.
If there was gonna be a place where we had to sit for a few days, up to a few weeks, to just like focus like online making money and trying to figure out what we're gonna do if we had to like pay that extreme of a bill, this would be the place that we'd want to do it.
Okay, so just leaving the place now. We're just heading to the mechanic now. The check engine light stopped flashing on us, so you know, we think it's okay. I think Rachel already explained how like the mechanic was like, oh, it should be fine. So we trust him. We don't really have any other option. So I mean, yeah, we're driving there now. I'm gonna avoid highways on the way just because I don't want to drive it super hard or super fast. So it takes a little longer, but that's okay. It'll be worth it in the end. Yeah, should be there in about 15 minutes. Dropped off. We were just quoted. It's $290 for 2 hours of work. Just gonna do he's just gonna do an inspection. That's what the price of the inspection is gonna cost for the 2 hours of work. After they diagnose it, they're going to give me a call, and any repairs or anything, that $290 will go towards the price of those repairs. So fingers crossed that it's just a fuel injector or a coil pack. He seemed pretty confident that it probably wasn't a valve job that needed to be done. But we'll see, I guess. I really hope that's not the case, because that is going to run up the price quite a bit. So I went down to a coffee shop that they had recommended just down the road. I worked on a Patreon a bit. I talked to Rachel, and I figured I'd just wait a couple hours just to hear what they had said after they were done with the diagnostic. At that point, I realized it was probably gonna take a while, and Rachel and I were actually gonna be on a podcast at 4 o'clock. So thinking that transit was gonna take me a little while to get home, I figured, okay, it's time to leave now to make sure that I'm at home in time to do this podcast. But just before I left, Sean had pulled me aside and said, hey, you told me that these guys changed the spark plugs, correct? To which I told him, yeah, that we paid for it. It's on our, it's on our bill, like everything. He then showed me the spark plug, which was completely rusted, dirty. I'm pretty sure that we have footage of us talking about that in our last 1 or 2 vlogs ago, about how they had changed the spark plugs for us. And anyways, they just didn't change them. They're gonna give me a call once they've got this all figured out. They're just doing a compression test on the cylinders. So fingers crossed that maybe the problem isn't as serious as we thought. But I don't know. Anyways, wish us luck.
When Nick called me and told me that, I was livid. We had spent $470 at the other mechanic in Phoenix who told us that he had run the diagnostic, he had changed the spark plugs. His words to us were that he replaced the spark plugs, that he checked the coils and wires to make sure that everything was intact and that they were, and that's why he had to do head work. That is what the other mechanic told us, and he ended up like giving us a $460 or $470 bill for that work. And as you guys know from our vlog a couple weeks ago, we were in we were there at the shop all day. When you called me and told me that he said that, I was f***ing livid, but I was also so happy that we were now dealing with a person who was being like upfront and honest about everything, like showing us everything and trying to do anything that he could to not have us have that like head work done.
If they would have changed it for you ahead of time, this is what happened. You have a slight burn valve. Like very so minute you can even barely tell, except by the check engine light. So now as far as it goes, that's up to you, whatever you decide you want to do up to that point. If you end up doing the engine work, I would tell you this, if it was my my van, I probably wouldn't do it.
Okay, so yeah, it's not gonna like nothing's gonna happen to the engine like on my trip, all right?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, it's just like I said, I wouldn't worry too much about a slight misfire. It's
Okay.
so slight. I mean, I didn't even feel it when the light trigger on after we did the wires and everything.
Yeah.
You would feel a big difference because I'm sure you remember how it was loping. The engine was
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's not doing that.
Okay, amazing.
And then, like I said, I'll take the picture with the engine open after we change it, so at least you know we did it, and
Okay.
then you can see it for yourself. Okay.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so
Okay,
much. I really
thank
appreciate
you.
it, Sean.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
No way!
Holy shit, man. Oh my god.
And we were so relieved. We just sat in the jacuzzi and I can't even tell you. We're getting our van back today. Breaks down.
That's so much better. And the check engine light's off right now. They put everything into Fahrenheit and miles.
So all in all, we are at this gorgeous house sit now. We are happy again in sunny San Diego. We're only a few $100s out of pocket when we thought we were going to be thousands of dollars out of pocket. Yeah, we were just so grateful for that team, also for our friends Jesse and Kevin, and the shop in Phoenix that we went to will certainly be hearing from us very shortly.
There really are some good people out there, man. Just goes to show when you actually care about your job and you care about people, you really help people out. So, SD Auto Service, definitely getting a 5-star review from us. And wow, like I'm just so happy we didn't have to spend like over $3,000 American.
So I will be comparing those two invoices, and the other mechanic is certainly going to hear from us. But we didn't really do a great job of filming this week, so I have to get ready to film this video and look a little bit better than this, and we'll see you soon. It's been a long week.